What's going on, everybody? I'll tell you what, fired up right now. Ownership is the weekly word for episode 61. And I'm not talking about ownership of like a house or a car or a boat. I'm talking about ownership of concepts, of ideas, ownership of principles, ownership of those things that you're passionate about. You know, too many times I'll look around and I'll see somebody who might have an opinion about something, and maybe they'll post that on Facebook and or other social media. But what they're posting about is purely an opinion with no activism. And I believe that ownership is all about acting on those things that otherwise people complain about or just want to talk about, kind of like keyboard activism. You know, I'm going to go out there on my keyboard and I'm going to talk about all this stuff and how I think the world should be, but at the same time, I'm not going to do anything to affect it. What is that all about? I think ultimately, if we take ownership of things and we embrace those things with the idea of it's my fault. In other words, I'm passionate about this thing, and instead of just talking about it, I'm actually going to embrace it. I'm going to own it. I'm going to execute on it with an intent of saying I'm going to fix it, and if it's not fixed, it's my fault. I'm going to act on it. And that right there, I think, is the essence of ownership. If you can get in there and say to yourself, if not me, then who? Then there you go. If not me, then who is going to fix this issue, is going to address this issue, is going to advocate through active execution for an issue? It's so easy to sit back and just talk about it. It's so easy to point fingers and have ideas that you don't act on. It's a whole nother thing to get out there and do something about it. And so I encourage everybody today to embrace the idea of ownership, to embrace it with the idea that if you don't own it and it doesn't get changed, then it's your fault. You've jacked it up. You have failed. It's amazing how when you own that and you own the burden of not fixing the issue, suddenly you're motivated in a whole nother way to truly be an active advocate of your issues. That's how I feel. And yeah, I'm a little fired up right now. It was a nice jog, run streak day 536. It's a cool evening. Fixing to go inside and embrace some opportunities. But I had to come to you today, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That's all I got. Get out there and own those things. Take ownership of those ideas. It's amazing the progress that will be made. Have a good time.